Century Farm Program. I see a number of Century farmers here, which is very good. I'm glad that you came. I presume that most of you have seen these markers out in the county, Stearns County. Most of you look to your right. These are examples of the markers over the years. The first marker over here on the left is a filling marker. Our initial, when the program started in the late 70s, we had to route every one of these signs and paint white on the letters and put the stain over, the rustic brown stain over it. Very time consuming. We did that for about 30 years. And we had I have to also thank the Stearns County Park Department, because they're the ones that actually got us going in this. They helped us out a lot. They were doing this for about 30 years. The next one is our granite marker. We'll get into that later on. We had a couple years where we actually let the granite marker would be most of the markers themselves are free, the wooden markers, but the granite markers were an expense. But we offered them for a couple years, and we have about 7 of them out in the county. And we'll see some of those later on. And finally, our sign to the right here is another sign where we have stained sign with applied lettering, vinyl lettering, which is really cool. A thinner board, and that's what the Parks Department kind of uses now for Stearns County. So we transferred to that about 10 years ago, and it's holding up fairly well. I love this picture. This is the Landwehr Farm, which is north of St. Augusta. Roman Landwehr. This picture actually made it into a book, believe it or not. So it's really kind of a cool shot. Roman here, I think he just died a number of years ago, and I think his wife Angie's still in the place. It's right off of 94. It's just west of the St. Augusta Industrial Park. It's run by there. That's actually the first sign. That's first up. We had to replace the sign, and we actually started out at the first sign of our thinner board. It was used on Roman's place, so every time I go by there, I kind of look at it because it's about 10 years old, and it's holding up well. Why did we start this program? The State Fair, 1976. I think this was a bicentennial project. We went out and asked people in the state of Minnesota to start a program for Century Farms. The Farmer magazine also sponsored it with them. So when we went to the State Fair in late August, early September, you could apply for it, or else you could apply by mail to this. So this was 1976. And I don't know if you can read some of the names up here, but these are the initial people that joined the state from Stearns County. And there was probably about 40 at that time. You'll see a number of these signs once they ask for the information, which usually was 100 years. Same family, bloodline. I don't know about the acreage. I think it was 40 acres at that time or more. You'll see these signs out in the county as well. They preceded our signs. They're still giving them out today. A number of years ago, the state changed. Farm Bureau took over for the Farmer magazine. So you'll see another different type of sign out there. And this is actually, I think, a better looking sign. These guys usually tack them on their outbuildings or garages, and sometimes on our poles out there too. Our wooden sign plus this one out here too. So. In 1970, late 1977, our president, Ed Zapp, And our director, Ruth Neville, got an idea of why shouldn't we kind of piggyback on the state. Maybe we could do one better. So they had the idea for the wooden markers and the pole, treated pole, put that on. And I have to admit, people think that I started the program. I didn't. I'll let you know that right now. Dave Ednett, who was one of my co-workers, actually started this first number of months, and I kind of took over for him in 1978 as well, late 78. Our qualifications were very similar to the state. You must have farmland in Stearns County, 100 years or more consecutive years on the farm. You need to show relationships somehow. You don't have to be a direct line. You can be a nephew or niece or grandchild or whatever. And we did make an exception for adopted children. So we have one of those out there too. So we're not exactly going through the bloodline, but there are exceptions. And now we change it from 40 to 50 acres. So that actually avoids some of the zoning stuff. The 40-acre zoning is. Malters will be happy to see this. So we actually, when we do is initially, remember those bicentennial names for Stearns County? We actually worked off of that initially. So we kind of cheated on that too and asked them, invited them to join our initial program, our initial year of our program. The Malters are one of those. But we send out these response sheets, and they fill them out with their addresses and phone numbers and that kind of stuff and where they're located. But the neatest thing on here is the historical data. We use that, a direct line each year when a family, each generation takes over the farm. And it is 1860, right? Before the program was working very well. Initially, we had to go out and write letters and ask people to join the program. Now it's kind of going to be a word of mouth. We have people calling or dropping by and emailing us and stuff to ask if they can join the program. So usually this happens between summer and or into January or February of the next of that year that we're going to put the signs up. So whatever information we can get, we will then transfer it to that summer to put the signs up. And this is the park department in Stearns County. This is Brent McMullen. Seventh to Serve had this for about 6-7 years in between the parks, getting it again last year. So Brent's been really a good contact for us. We have 25 signs going out this year. It's one of our largest totals in a number of years. So he just punched these out. And this sign over here, this fifth our signs going out on Monday. So
I'm here, John. You want to mention me?
Paul wants to be mentioned. So Paul was initially with this program too, with the Parks Department. So he and Bill McConnell, Chuck Wolf, and probably 3 people I have to recognize for this. So
They made signs in the winter where it was brutal cold out and we couldn't go out and work. They'd make signs. They made hundreds of these. About that year.
Initially there were a lot of them too, yeah. Just so we had to go out. Yeah. They actually let me route some of the signs. They took a chance on that, so I still have all my fingers and stuff. So, let's see. So we usually send out information, a letter telling them when we're going to come, usually beginning of June. We did these in May, we did these in July, and it still didn't work out real well because farmers are busy. They're not usually around their farm yards at certain times of the year. Did this in snow one time, did it in rain, So usually beginning of June is usually a good time to do this. It's probably in between cuttings, and we don't do this in the morning or afternoon, late in the afternoon because of dairying and all that. So this is the Brinkman farm out by Farming, north of Farming. So last time I used a gas-powered auger, believe me. Rather do these by hand. And we're talking about accidents. Well, gas-powered, if you don't have something marked and you hit something, you're in trouble. So especially rocks, they can jump on you. Take a look at the hair on that guy. I mean, that's been gone for a number of years, so it's always live in the past. So. This is Steve Pennick, myself. We were out in Clearwater a number of years ago. Treated poles, they're 8 feet. And I just think that this is, Lyle Heaton was there, he's in his 80s, and should have put his picture up here. He was so proud, he was smiling the whole time. So, remember this, Maulers? This is our first official sign that went up. This is actually on my birthday. I won't tell you how old I was at the time. Much younger. We tried to get our commissioners involved in the process, and this is Arnold Kunz, who was Stearns County Commissioner at the time. And he actually grabbed the bar and helped us put it in, which is kind of neat. See Andy in the background, Bill Mauder, his son, in front, and the curly-haired guy on the left. So, we love this because this is, I love taking pictures, and we'll get to that later. 35, 40 years later, we use these for this kind of presentation, or just for the family if they ever want this. It's available to them. So history is really important, and the program is very important, just for that reason. As I said, we're trying to get mass media involved, listen to newspapers, radio. So if we're doing these presentations, we encourage Century Farmers to try to get into the newspaper when they get their Century Farm designation. And Andy and Eunice got a nice spiel in St. Cloud Times. We're trying to do all these in certain Stearns County Commissioner districts, so you'll see different families in here. And each time the commissioners came, and part of our board came as well, who represented that. Stearns County Historical Society board members would come to this as well. This is a Lodemeyer farm, south there by 5 Points, kind of northwest of St. Cloud, towards St. Joe. Let me show you this. Guy in the blue shirt, I think, to your left is Paul. I think he's on the farm now. So I think Ray's passed a number of years ago as well. So he's on that. We have several farms that go back to 1854 and 55, and the Cold Spring area has a few 55 farms that we had designated years ago. The Tice Farm, southwest or southeast of Cold Spring, by the golf course, trailer park. Fuchs Farm, north of here, which is still active. It's 1855, both are 1855. They're one of the oldest, two of the oldest farms that I know of in this area. The Coon Farm, which is 1854, it's probably one of our oldest, if not the oldest in the county. We went out there, that's a different district. Keith Mauer came out with us, he had commissioner at that time. It's too bad because this place is now commercial. It's all along Roosevelt Road. It's out by the Miller Carlin Funeral Home just southeast of that, and they just kind of wiped out the whole farm, which is a sad day. It's just in the last couple of years. Mary and David Kuhn, David's brother John, they were in all partnership out there. And that's the old sign right there. It's, what, 70? And our last one, as our fourth official, was out at Meyer Grove. This is Leon and Martha Meyer's farm. It's just kind of in town. You drive into Meyer Grove from the south, it's just to the left. And I think Martha's still on it. I don't think her two sons are involved in it. The really sad cases is Leon was struck by lightning in the late 90s, died out in his field. So he's a pretty young guy. The guy in the white shirt, and he's with his family here. Leon's family on the left, and Martha's on the right. Talking about granite markers. Our first granite marker, we offered those. Bob Pedersen from Segway Stone at St. Joe offered us somewhat of a plan or an offer we couldn't refuse. He did this for almost like for wholesale, to promote our program. This is back in 2005, 2006. Our first one is out at the Pullman Farm, which is out by north of Melrose. And Amy and Mark. Amy's an interesting character. The day before, we were going to go out there, we were going to, of course, bring the Melrose Beacon and everybody else St. Cloud Times out there, so it was our first one. She calls up the morning or the day before and says, "John," I said, "Amy, the marker and pole went down last night." I went, "What?" She goes, "It went down." And he was sitting there going, "I gotta come out and put it back up." She goes, she waits and she goes, "No, it's still up." That was her humor, so. So don't mess with Amy Pullman. Somebody might know this person, Hines, called another one out by 5 Points. And Flossie, I think, is still out in her home out there. We have her family here, her brothers, or her sons, I should say, and her granddaughters. And there's Richie Utek on the right. Probably you guys know him. That's Flossie, is his oldest sister. And this was a good day. Nice, beautiful day, I remember this. And of course, we get all the yucky yucks at this, Dwayne Maury was commissioner of that district, and two of our Historical Society board members, Bob Whitty and Don Kinzer was our president at the time, getting involved. This one was a pretty cool day. The Myers Zinc family, I'm sorry. It's our third marker dedication. Their farm is by the Sauk River and Sauk River Valley, which is just kind of southeast of Munich, about 2 or 3 miles. 30 of them came, some of them came from North Dakota for this, just for this day to celebrate. There are 3 or 4 generations on this shot. And the Zinks are still on this farm yet. That little boy, he's probably what do you think he is now? He's probably about a 5th grader in grade school. Anybody know where the Farmland Farm is? In south of Rockville, the Hanson Farm, Pierre Hanson Farm. We went out there. This was unique because we were using black granite when it wasn't local granite. And Dan Hansen said, "Well, we have a quarry, we have number 2 quarry." So he said, "Why don't we use our granite and put it up there? Can they shape it and we'll pay for it?" And I'm, okay. So on both ends of his driveway, they have 2 driveways with me, and they've got these number 2 quarry stones on there, which is really neat. So they took the picture, and I was wearing my cow hat. I don't know if I should have done that or not. That's indifferent. It's on record, it's not, probably not good. The Edmund family, which is out by Holdenford, west of Holdenford. A bunch of those people, it's a 3-generation shot as well. Joel and Kathy, really neat people. The neat part about this is if you look to the west of his home, and we don't have a picture of it, is that this guy flies his airplane right out of his farm yard. I've never seen anything like that. He's got, he has this, it's crazy. You're kind of on top of the hill and he flies right off the hill. It's going. And that's your core family that lives on there. I'm sure all of them are growing up and gone. And some of you guys might know these people. Tim and Becky Krieger. They were the last ones to get the marker up, this granite marker. And the cool thing about this is that she literally had those flowers in there for us. We had to kind of work around that and put the pole in without smashing the flowers and stuff. So the kitties were sitting there, don't. Anyway, so yeah, this is really a source of pride for Century Farmers. I don't care if you have a granite marker or a wooden marker. It's bragging rights to a certain extent. Passing down in the family, which is really important. It's a tradition. I've never seen some happy people getting their sign. And the interesting part of this is I know 2 of the boys on here. And they are 20-somethings now, and they bowl on our Monday night league. So Noah and Alex, and Noah on the left, the smaller guy, is the bigger guy out of the group. He went way past Alex so, with height. So we're just going to kind of run through possibly some local people on here. So hopefully we will surprise you. Utex are one of the early families that, in fact, they were on that 1976 list. So they kind of got the ball started rolling here. This is a nice 3-generation shot. Greg is still around. I see him running around. I believe that Rick is on that dairy farm now. He and JJ are running it, so that still continues to this day. 1870. This is actually, I put this in here just because they're related to my wife. She's a co-horse, so I just threw it in there just to wish Jan was here. This is her cousins, actually her double cousin, Danny and Leo. This is kind of neat because Dan's still on there, he and Barbara's still on the farm. You'll see my yellow beater in the background of the car, so it's actually had to put the poles in the car because we didn't have a pickup truck to bring it out there. As you see in some of these photos, it's very important for us to take the pictures because some of these people have passed on, and some of them unexpectedly. So if we come out to your place, if you're a New Century farmer, we'd like to take a picture. There's more than just taking the picture. There's other things that are involved with that. So who are these guys?
They're here.
Are they here? I see. I know Ralph is here. So Dean is on the farm, right? Dean and Amber taking over. You've moved down the road, so. But I think Ralph, he's most likely involved with the farm. He's got his health, so I'm sure that he's helping, which is the neat part of Century farming in general, is that even if you quote retire, you never retire off the farm. I mean, it's just, I don't know too many people that are still connected to the farm, to the land. This is kind of the precious pictures by Ola and Mark Coyle. Things have changed a little bit around there because of the road being changed, County Road 2, but Dave and Rosie are still on the farm yet. The barn is gone, pretty well hacked that area up, but he does have his signs up. He still does farming. He still does crop farming in the south of his place. I think he just retired, so now he's got all kinds of time. Here is the Knight. 1994. And all these kids are growing up, and they're tiny on here, but when you see the Knight kids now, they're grown up. So, yeah. So, I don't know, I hope we spelled this right, Mary Kay, I don't know. I hope so. Weber Farm, out by Farming. We'll be going out there this year to replace the sign. It's a 20-year-old sign. Diane, of course, says, I don't know if she's here or not today. She's supposed to say she's going to come, maybe not. It's part of the neat part about the Weavers is that the farming church is on their property. So they actually donated her husband's relatives, Leon's relatives, actually donated that land for the church out there. So, and the farm right next to it, it's like a cemetery. Everybody knows the Lynn family out by west of Pearl Lake, southwest of Pearl Lake. Gary and Teresa. Gary managed Pearl Lake for many years with the baseball team. I think they all have daughters, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I like that the dog next to him, to his right hand, which is kind of cool. I always try to get pets in there, it's important. Stein family. We'll be going through some Luxembourg Township people. Ralph and Pauline, the Horseshoe King, Ralph. The other guy that's passed away since then. And I think Pauline's still on there. She's got kids with her too. Schmitz, she lived southeast of St. Nicholas. Glad we got this because Bev has passed as well, so she died very young. And the Lars, going out towards Eden Valley, southwest of St. Nicholas. It's just kind of neat, and I think one of the boys had taken over the farm. The neat thing about this place, I don't know if it's still, I think it's still up, is that they have a tobacco shed still sitting, driving into their place on the right, which is really quite rare. You see very many of those anymore. Because the Lauder families and tobaccos in the 30s and 20s. Steichen family, it's just kind of northwest of Pearl Lake. Danny and Ryan, I think Ryan's still on there, and I think Kathy, his wife, lives in there on the farm. Danny also passed away about 6-7 years ago. It's one of my friends from high school. He was a senior and I was a freshman, so he kind of took me under his wing, so I do miss him. Wally Darlene Bierman lives east of Farming. Wally, pretty active guy, big civic guy as well. And they have a huge flower and vegetable garden out there. It's really kind of neat. Anybody know the Mitchells? Pat and Shane. Pat was with the Cold Spring Granite. His family actually had property out in Getty Township, which is way out by Padua. So he rents this land. Ron Mayer, lives between Roscoe and Richmond. Beautiful area. Lives in kind of on top of the Roscoe Hills, to the northeast of Roscoe. Herbie Schultz, Collegeville, on the west end of Big Fish Lake. Tree farm. So that's what he does, farming, tree farms. And Joe Stotts, who just put it up a couple years ago, kind of, it's a number of miles north of Richmond. He and his sister live in the farm in the background on the right. And then there's another Stotts farm just to the north of it that's going very strong. It's a big farm, big dairy and crop farm. Joe died about, just recently, actually. So it was kind of a surprise. Because he was limping off to me the whole time. It was rained the day before, and the sign was trying to get it in down there, and the water just filled the hole. And the pole would be going like this, and he'd be laughing. Stuck the pole in one time and it splashed in my face, and he had a good time with that, so. Used to make him laugh. And at the end here, the Andersons. If you go west of Belgrade, for as long as far as you can look, they have owned property west of Belgrade. They have 2,000 acres of it, the Andersons. It's a split family. We got John on the left, Jim on the right. Their kids and their grandkids. They have 2 sons involved in the business. They are huge hog and cattle farmers, and of course, crop farming. They have to supply critters, and they also sell. It's one of the largest operations I've ever seen, and they're such down-to-earth people. This, what I like is they're pretty proud of their heritage. It's in our genes, right? So it's kind of neat. They got jeans hanging on the back. So we're running through the August Fest parade in Belgrade for 13. So I stole this off on the internet, which is kind of cool. And Jim just was in an accident here about a month ago. I hope he's okay. And kind of end this. I don't know if you can see this real well. It's not real large, but this is the map that we've used in Stearns County since 1978. We have 468 farms on this. I dare not try to reproduce this by hand. I don't know how I would do this. But there are some fun facts on here. You can probably read them. Is that the highest density of Century Farms in this county are in western Stearns County along 4. So if you go from I-94 or 4, go to Meyer Grove, you run down all the way south of Lake Henry to 55, and you go 3 miles on each side, 67 farms along there. So if you turn off in any road, township, state, you're going to hit one of them along 4. So it's a beautiful drive, number 1, and number 2. There is so much passing down farms in that area, and I'm just blown away. And half of those farms are within a 3-mile radius of Meyer Grove and Greenwald. You go out there, you can turn around and see signs all over the place. And it's still growing today. So your other high-density areas are farming, Holding, Luxembourg, and Melrose townships. Many farms in those townships. And in this area, Corey District, over 50 farms have been registered. So this is kind of a hotbed too. So part of Luxembourg is in that, and a little bit part of farming, but not much. And we do have the highest amount of Century Farms in the state, 468. So, and that's counting what the state is doing as well. Kind of keep track of them as well. That's it. Questions or comments? You guys are quiet. Anyway, yes.
I'm just going to share a story. When you came out to do the herd catters, change his sign, that's meant so much to him. And then 2 weeks before he passed away, he was on hospice, but there's a program called Sentimental Journey, I believe, and it's a nonprofit organization that comes out and grants a wish to this dying person. And so we had them come, and they had to come via an ambulance, and 2 attendants, and they took him from the nursing home, put him into this ambulance, and Danny and I got to ride with, and we went out, and we took a picture of her next to his sign, went into the yard, they took the cart out and put him around in the back of his barn so he could say goodbye to his farm. And then we took him to farming and had a birthday party because he turned 81, I believe it was. And so anyway, it's just, that meant so much to him, that Century Farm, and I just wanted to share that with you, just the value of, and I know you see it all the time, every time you put a sign up. It's just unreal. And his nephews are farming the land right now. We're waiting to see if anyone's going to buy it up. But there is only one catter, because, you know, all of them were bachelors of those catters except for Romy. And so, but you can stay in as a Centric Farm, even if a Jansen or, you know, one of our Rush boys would buy it or something, it still can stay as a Centric Farm?
There's any connection to a bloodline, yeah, there would be, yes. We've had nephews, we've had nieces, we've had grandchildren, we've had cousins, that kind of stuff, yeah.
But it's still always going to be titled Catter Century Farm.
And there it goes, you can sit there and we actually have, and I didn't show this as well, that's a good question. We actually put more than one name on it, we've done that. So you'll see that out in the county. If someone, let's say, 3 generations of one name, and another one, a married person comes in with a different name, they can put both names on. So that's happened. I think we had 15 of them out there now. We're putting one out this year with that too. So that is an option that you can use, and I did not mention that. It's a good question. So, question?
Yes, with the Stolberger farm, now a granddaughter is taking it's Schulzenberg now, so you know the Schulzenberg.
Oh, no, with Stolberger and Schultz. No, you can put that on there, or else you can squeeze it on. Put the Stolberger, sure, they can do that, yeah.
Do they need to call you or talk to you and have it done?
They do need to get a hold of us, yeah. So we're available, email, phone, drop in, so we're always available. Good question. Yeah, we had like Ivan Steiner, whatever, we had like these long German names, and it filled up the sign in one, it was just like, get bigger.
So maybe I missed it at the beginning, but
Yes.
someone
Probably missed something.
believes that their farm is a Century Farm and maybe they haven't been recognized. Do people come to you and say, hey, we have a Century Farm, or do you research the records and go out and find it?
We can do either. What we try to do is use the abstract title for your property. It usually narrows down when people bought the property. And you can see the progression from start to finish, generational. So yeah, we would do that. We ask them to bring that in if they have it available. We do have maps, we do have plat books, we do have files that can tell you when people came, especially the initial year. Sometimes that is written down, typed. I think that answers your question, yeah. But it's nice to prove it on the abstract. It's legal and everybody's on the same page. Robert?
What family is the exception where you went to the adopted?
I'm not going to say. Nope. Dan, sorry.
If, let's say the farm is sold to an outside party, is the Century Farm decommissioned?
It's like a ship. It's done.
It's done. Do you take the sign down then, or it probably goes in the family?
Usually, yeah, it's a good question. Usually the family takes it. I know there was one that when they left, they didn't take it, so we kind of took it down and then they could keep it full. You know, they were so yes.
Is there a fee for these guys?
Yeah, the wooden markers, actually, it's on your taxes. So you don't have to, you're not going to be billed anything like that for that. So it's a really nice program for that. The reason is that there's no strings attached. The granite markers were anywhere from $250 to $400 in those 2 years. So that's why you offer that to a person and you offer it free. What would you do? No, but if they wanted the granite marker is permanent, that's going to go away. So these other markers last from anywhere from 15 to 30 years. And poles usually are with that, treated poles are with that as well. So we had some out there that's been there 35 years. Actually put in place one from 1978, but it's in tough shape. It's going to fall. Questions? You guys have your tummies full and you're ready to roll here for the rest of the day, right? That's question then.
John, another question. If family members would like to get a Century Farm sign, is there only one sign, or can there be 10 or 20 signs that were given to family members?
Usually we just get the one. We want them to place us in a spot where it's noticeable, especially in their driveways. Try to keep them out of, well, we kind of cheat on this, so don't let this out of the room. We're really not supposed to have these on ditches, and it's not what their property, but we put them out there, and I think the county and the state have complained yet, some townships, so try to keep them out of farm operation, snow blowing, try to keep them in areas for that. And some people want to put them in their yards because sometimes there's vandalism. So there's all that that has to be discussed ahead of time, and usually we try to have them on the property when we come out, so if they don't flag it, then we have to go to them. Good question. That's all, folks. Thank you for coming.